Yeah, g'day guys and girls. Just wanted to do a quick video on the Coober ECU and the wings exhaust upgrade that I've done on my bike. As you can see just from having a quick look around the bike, I don't or haven't bothered spending thousands and thousands of dollars on what I believe are really unnecessary upgrades to this 790. These are very capable bikes in fairly standard form. I'm not going to go into an install vid, but so there's the ECU in there. Now that's probably been the biggest, the most painful part of the install is where to fit that thing. The ECU is quite a large box, and it's supposed to fit up underneath the seat bracket there, but it's quite a tight fit. So at the moment I've just got it sitting down on top of the air box. I've modified my my snorkels, so it's sitting there now. I'm not going to go into the install vid. I got a bit carried away and have fitted it and didn't have the video going, but there's probably one major thing to keep in mind when installing them. So it plugs into both injectors, both ignition coils, and then ignition pickup. So there's 5 plugs on the engine that it plugs into. Keeping in mind that these things are a piggyback harness, so the harness to that ECU has 10 plugs on it. The only issue I came across with is the plugs into the ignition harness side of things, so cylinder 1 and cylinder 2. All the plugs on the harness are marked quite clearly where they're supposed to go, but the only problem or issue that I came across is that those plugs, the original plug on the bike harness is a female. Now the male off the Coober plug that goes into that female can be plugged in both directions, or back to front. What I'm saying is it can be plugged in back to front, and it will clip into position. So you've got to be very careful you've put it into the right way so that it is plugged and the wires are going to the right wires. Apart from that, it's a very basic install, plug and play, and off you go. The wings pipe comes with 3 different options what you can do. I've run it now with baffle out. This here is the standard baffle that comes in the wings pipe. It's very standard or similar baffle to what comes in acro pipes that I know of on dirt bikes. I'm not sure what the 790 acro baffle looks like, probably very similar. And then it also comes with they call it a DB or baffle impersonator, so that can bolt in there, and it looks like from a distance it looks like you've got a bung in it. Makes no difference to noise or sound. Yeah, so now the reason why I went this way with the Coober ECU and the wings exhaust. Now I did try with the standard fueling. I did try a Sharon low boy pipe with the straight through exhaust, that with the decat in it. Now they sound horn, they sound amazing. By all reports and dyno charts, they don't lose power, but I can assure you that bum on seat dyno riding them, I feel that they definitely drop the power down low in that, and it's right in that zone where you ride and you accelerate out of corners when you're riding in the bush, and that, you know, around that 3.5 to 4.5, 5 grand mark, where these things are a little bit soft to start with. They actually feel doughier with that Sharon pipe on. They sound amazing, but I couldn't live with that loss of power. I was going to go to an ECU from bloody Rottweiler, but at this stage they are still not compatible with the engine ECUs in the fact that it'll throw an engine light up, and which isn't a drama, but I like to maintain the ability of my when the engine, what I'm trying to say is, when the engine light's on, things like your cruise control and that won't work. In a race environment, that's not a real big deal, but I don't race this thing. I ride it on the road, long distances, in the bush, whatever. But I want to maintain that cruise control. I think that part of it's amazing. Yeah, so that's why I didn't stay with the Sharon exhaust. So I've stuck with the cat and with the wings pipe. Anyone that's ridden these things at slow speeds, either in the street or like in town or in the bush. Now this bike has got one tooth lower on the front sprocket, so that has helped with that slow speed riding in the bush and also like in the city. But you can still feel that lean chugging, and you've got which makes them flame out easier, softer power. You've got to use the clutch more and or work the clutch to prevent stalling. Yeah, so this Coober has definitely cleaned that up big time. Like the fueling. I haven't measured the air fuel ratios that this bike has got since I've plugged this in, but it definitely feels that little bit richer in that closed loop where they run that little bit leaner. If you compared this ride video that I'll put up on this one to some of the other of my videos where I'm riding around in the bush at slow speeds, and you can hear the bike sort of real chuggy, and me having to slip the clutch heaps more to maintain the engine from stalling and flaming out, you can notice that this thing is happy to run at lower speeds much more.
Yeah, so I'm just out of town now, and I'll show you where I believe the Coober ECU has made the most drastic improvements on the fueling on this bike, and that's down low. Now anyone that's ridden one of these 790s does know how chuggy they are at low throttle inputs, at low revs, you know, below that really 4,000 RPM, 3.5, it doesn't really like to run much lower than that. But now, well, you can take off, no throttle, not chugging, and it'll happily idle there, no throttle, bloody, without chugging and stalling and carrying on. Small throttle application, much smoother. I haven't ridden much in town yet, but just riding around slowly, it definitely doesn't jerk and carry on like it used to. Pulls a lot cleaner and smoother. Yeah, it's like down low, like it doesn't want to stall or jump. I love it.
Yeah, now if you have a quick look over the bike, you'll notice that the bike still is, apart from a few things, is still quite standard. I haven't and don't see the need to be adding heaps of expensive upgrades to this bike. It is a very capable machine in fairly standard form. Obviously it's everyone's own opinion and own taste or whatever to go and add thousands of dollars worth of rims and suspension to an already very capable machine. You can have a look at some of my other videos if you like, to see that I've taken this thing in all sorts of terrain, and the rims and the suspension for this particular build of bike. It is an adventure, a travel adventure bike. I use it for that. I'm not racing it. I'm not trying to single track enduro it, but we do a little bit of everything. And the way KTM have built this bike in standard form, it pretty much does it. Suspension wise, all I've done is adjust rebound and compression. Both front and back have actually gone stiffer on the front and back, and once the suspension has bedded in. The rims are still standard. I do run a tube in that front tyre now. I still run the back as a tubeless setup, and to date, touch wood, haven't had any flat tyres. So yeah, I don't feel the need to be spending thousands and thousands of dollars on upgrades to this bike. But one thing I did feel it did need was the fueling fixing up, especially down low. Like up when it is in the open loop, it's quite fine, but down in the closed loop part of the fueling, we all know that they're very lean, and which causes drivability and power issues. So I'm going to give it a quick start. Now this is going to be from a cold start, so we'll see how it goes from cold, because a lot of people know that these things can play up when they're cold and not stall a lot. So we'll see how this thing goes. Yeah, that's a cold start. With the baffle out. Now the difference between the baffle, I know videos don't give sound very well, but with the baffle in, it's not much different to the standard exhaust, to be honest. Just opens it up. So I'll just show you how it's improved the fueling for riding in slow speed, sort of more gnarly stuff.
where you do typically on these things have to ride the clutch a bit, which you don't really want to do because the clutches are known to be a little bit weak. Now that's pretty rocky snot. But he goes through a lot better, a lot smoother, a lot easier on the rider and on the bike and the clutch. Capable bikes, and this has just made it so much more capable in this sort of terrain where you've got to rely on a little bit of slow speed torque. Stuff that up, push your grip, now this little hill here, it's not steep, but you know, it just chugs up, not a drama. This is where where that ECU, I believe, has really made a big difference. Beautiful day. It's made it much more capable and usable bike in this slower speed stuff. Like I said before, I have gone down a tooth in the on the front, but this has made a much more significant difference to the ability in this sort of stuff. Oh, and don't get me wrong, in standard form, you've seen plenty of videos where these bikes are doing this, and I've done it myself. All I'm saying is that this has made it an easier and more pleasurable experience doing this and easier on the bike, the clutch. Quite rocky snot, this stuff. And obviously another side effect or positive outcome from it all, apart from the power increase, is the better sound coming out of it. I honestly I can't say if the wings slip-on made any difference from the standard one. I didn't try it before I put the ECU on, but it certainly made for better sound. You can hear the bloody thing in the bush now, and even with the baffle out, it's not overly loud. It sounds good. New ECU and exhaust, so I can't really comment on whether it's going to change the amount of fuel that it burns. I really don't expect it to make any significant difference at all, but at this stage I am super impressed with how the bike runs now, and I'm glad that I went this way. You make up your own decision. Have fun, see you later.